Good morning and welcome to the Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu podcast, episode 150. My name is Isaac Tauaefa, and I'm here with
Lucas Pinckard.
And Cramer.
Good morning, guys.
150.
Yeah, 150.
Let's go.
It's a lot.
Yeah, coming up on 3 years.
That is such a great landmark.
It's a momentous
Yeah,
occasion.
it is.
It's normally a fail point.
Should we get up and do a dance or something?
Oh, 3 years?
3 years is normally. I think we do a dance at 157
There you
when
go.
we've made it to 3 years in 1 week.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's
Well,
our
yeah,
our dance
I had
time.
my dancing shoes on today.
Oh, I did not. I didn't get the dancing memo.
Oh, yeah, some old school Vans.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You have a
Yeah,
pair of those?
I do.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
have a bunch.
Vans. No, I've got Chucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uggs. You've got Uggs.
yeah. I've got Uggs.
You've got Ugg boots.
Chugs.
Yeah,
Chugs.
Chugs
My
Yeah.
feet are too wide for those.
for Chuck Taylors.
Yeah, I think they're super cool looking, but Vans are the way to go because my feet
I've never owned a pair of Vans.
They're sick.
Yeah.
dog. Off the
Like,
wall.
yeah. there's
Kirsten's got some.
this. When I wear these, it reminds me of that. Remember that meme or that Vine video from back in the day? Here's what
Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
With the white
with those white Vans, Daniel.
Daniel.
Anyway,
Well,
good morning, guys.
Yeah,
It's
hey,
been a
it's
few
good.
weeks since I've been
Yeah.
on with you guys, so I'm excited to be here. My energy's high. I apologize in advance, Lucas, because I know you're not as much of a morning person as I am.
Bro, I'm feeling good.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Then let's go.
let's do it.
Yeah, it is. It's great to have everybody back and great to be with you guys this morning. It's a great way to start off. It is a little earlier than we normally do it, and it's on a day we don't normally do it, so that feels a little disorienting. But we wanted to
I think
get
it feels special.
it's special.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to get another
Special
one in so that we can kind of stay ahead in case there's any. I mean, there's always some kind of life circumstance, some
Yep.
issue, something happens, and so
Yeah.
it's good to just-
Last week our family got hit hard with the flu bug, and so yeah, this is
yeah, dude, it's brutal.
good. Mhm. It's not fun.
No.
Yeah.
How long did it take to wrap up?
About 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a full 5 days before the adults were fever free. The kids were a little bit more resilient, but it was one of those where like our whole family got hit with it at the same time. And it was the like blessing and a curse kind of thing, because now we're not like dealing with it for weeks.
Yeah.
Right? It's like one person gets it, the next person gets it, the next person gets it. No, everybody just got hammered at the same time. But the rough part is with 2 toddlers, mom and dad are feeling tired and sick and lethargic, and you know the babies are wanting stuff. And we're like, oh, I don't know if I could go get
That's
it right
the
now.
worst,
Yeah.
man.
So, but it all worked out. We all climbed into to our bed and watched marathon of If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, and you know it worked.
It's kind of funny because like you're like, yeah, we got, you guys got over it in 5 days, and it's funny, like in the chuck wagon days, in the Old West, that's like a death sentence. You guys
Yeah.
would have been gone.
Yeah.
In the olden days, as my kids call the 80s,
Yeah. Yeah.
Dad, in the
were
olden
gone.
days when you were a kid,
Back
and
in the
I'm
1900s.
"Get outta here."
Yeah.
Back in the olden days.
Well, thank
She
you. I'm
asked
glad
if we
you're
had.
here this
She asked if
morning.
we had pens and paper recently.
because it's like so outdated.
Oh my goodness.
Of course, you know.
Oh, back then, pens
Yeah.
and paper.
Well,
back then?
I think it was something like my kids don't get a lot of screen time. Like sometimes I take them to open mat.
Yeah.
Like on Saturdays I go and they'll go with me, and it's one of the few times that they get their iPad. And so I remember getting home from the gym. This was 2 weekends ago, and I'm trying to take the iPads away, and it's like, no, please, can I have a little bit more? I was like, no, you're not just going to sit on your iPad all day. And she's like, well, why not? I was like, look, just do something. It's beautiful outside. We can go outside. We can ride bikes. We can do whatever. We can play in the backyard. Just get off your iPad. Like when I was a kid, I didn't have iPads. We didn't have this. We just learned to entertain ourselves, and we got outside and we played. We played with our friends. We wrestled. We just made fun, And she's like, oh, well, okay. Well, back in the olden days, what did you write with? I was like, what do you mean? What did I write with? She's like, did y'all have paper and stuff? I'm like, Griffin, you're so sweet, baby. Yes, we did. Could you imagine?
That's awesome. You're chiseling it out on a copper plate.
Oh man, that is so sweet. Kids are hilarious, bro.
They're so funny.
It's
They're
the
mean.
endless source of entertainment, and they're mean.
Yeah.
and they'll cough right into your eyeballs when your eyes are open.
Yep.
Yep.
They will do that.
Yeah. So
Sneeze right in your mouth. That's one that happened to us a few times.
Oh, man. You're like, yeah, I'm for sure getting sick now.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
I remember the first and only time I got spit up in my face.
Oh, dude.
And it was just like, I was an excited dad. Like I had, a newborn baby and she was breastfeeding and there was a little dock atop between us and she had just eaten. I got her and I was so excited and I just picked her up and then just.
Oh,
Did you get it in your mouth?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The spit up in the mouth is the worst.
It's like
I
smelled it for like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like
it's all in there.
Yeah. I've done that. I'm laying on the bed and like picking the baby up, playing with the baby, and puke on the face. Also, like burping them over the back, and you get just hot spit up all over the back.
Yep.
The joys of being a dad. But look, now our kids are kind of through that, and
well, until they get sick and puke. That's what we had this week. Yeah. So the little one gave a little bit of puke on mom. Not a big deal, but she was like, "All right, I'm gonna change." I was like, "Yeah, go change your towel. I'll take him." And then I got 2 massive ones on me. So she came around, like you could hear the splash whenever she.
Oh, no.
If we were in the kitchen, she got into the room. She heard the splash. She was like, "Babe," I was like, "Just change clothes, come get him." Yeah, luckily he missed the beard. That was the big thing. But I had on my canes.
Yeah.
Right. So for those who don't know, it's a shoe. It's like kind of like Crocs, and there's every like oats and eggs from breakfast just. Yep, soaked.
Dude,
that's a great segue into what we're talking about on the actual podcast today. Because we're talking about stand firm and act like a man, and actually what the definition of a man is biblically. But these are all the cool things that it is to be a dad.
Yeah, for sure.
Like don't get talked about as being a dad enough is the things that aren't fun, that aren't exciting, that are disgusting. Because kids, even though I have 2 little girls and they are gorgeous and they're like little princesses, but they're also gross.
Yeah.
They're gross. You know.
And
Come wipe my butt.
Yeah.
You're like, you can wipe your own butt. You're 15. I'm just joking.
How do you keep your kid calm when they know they just puked on you twice? They're upset because it's not something that happens to them all the time, and they're sure you're not ecstatic about it. So you got to have that job. Like, all right, let me get you out of your mess and not do anything to freak you out or to cause you to become more upset, because that's just going to mean more puke's going to come.
Yeah, man.
And wait for mom to change her jammies.
So and being sick is such a that's a really trying trial.
Yeah.
It's okay, yeah, you're gonna get better and whatever, but dude, when you're in it, you're just like, when is this gonna end? You know, and taking care of kids is even more brutal, and then all sick at the same time. It's definitely a test and definitely a cause to turn your eyes heavenward. Lord, I need your help, So
Save me.
Yeah. Well, hey, the sponsor of today's podcast, we want to thank Jocko Fuel for sponsoring the podcast. Jocko Fuel, we have some new Jocko Fuel stuff in here today, which is this Jocko Milk Protein Shake, which I'm excited to try.
What flavor is this?
This is the fruity cereal, which it looks like on the front. It looks like Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So you're gonna give us a quick sampling of that?
Oh man, it literally tastes like you just got done eating Fruity Pebbles and you just drink the milk after.
I'm a big proponent. We started making the Fruity Pebbles treat instead of the Rice Krispies treat at our house.
Yeah, us too.
So good.
Yeah, it's such a approach. Actually, you
such
can go down
a
the
stellar
whole,
upgrade.
You can go down that rabbit hole of other cereals that make really good treats.
Yep, they're phenomenal cereals out there for treats. Yeah, the Captain Crunch Oops All Berries, also a winner.
Dude.
Just kind of
honey.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it's painful to the roof of your mouth. The old
it's
every kid
scratchy.
knows a little. So what's wrong? What's wrong there, Timmy? Captain
Crunch.
Captain Crunch mouth.
But just your
fourth
bowl of it on a Saturday morning.
Oh,
and it's just raked the top of your mouth. Yep, those are good. The Cocoa Puffs, another winner.
Yeah.
So,
well, this milk, this literally, it tastes like Fruity Pebble milk or like Fruit Loop milk or something.
Ooh,
it's crazy good. So I don't want to be too tempting.
No, you're good.
Fasting right now. So.
It's
it smells exactly like.
I know.
Pebbles. No, you got to get a whiff of that. Just
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
that smells good.
It's so satisfying.
I'm
This is
looking
by far
forward to
my
mine.
favorite flavor now.
Well,
We have
yeah.
self-driving cars, but no, you can't smell through the
Through the
ears,
TV.
through the
Yeah.
through the TV or
Yep.
your ears. So
Ridiculous.
you're gonna have to miss out.
Yeah. But thank you to Jocko Fuel. And yeah, check out their other stuff. They got some incredible products.
Yeah, the goes, the hydrates, the creatine sticks. Those are good. The new colostrum and collagen.
Yep.
That's a massive game changer, especially for people who are having skin issues and things like that.
So much good stuff for any
Yep.
of your needs, whether recovery, sleep, testosterone boosting, all the stuff, all the things. And if you're interested in any of that, go to their website and use code JJJ20 to save 20% at checkout.
I'm going to crack into this, get some caffeine going today.
That was fun to do the whole promo blurb like as a group,
As a
together.
team?
as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we used the Cold War a lot during the
Being
sick.
sick.
Yeah, because it's packed full of vitamin C and some other good stuff. So it was
I wish
beneficial.
could be more consistent about the joint warfare. I feel like you have to take so much of it. Sorry.
Yeah, because it's three pills is the recommended, but you can go
Like
up to 6.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
3 times a day.
Oh, it's twice a day.
That's right, twice.
Yeah,
a day.
yeah, twice a day.
I just forget.
But
like,
yeah,
like,
if you're not into like a normal morning and evening
if you don't
pill
have your
routine,
little, like
I'm
pill,
diligent.
your pill case.
Yeah, no, I'm
that
diligent
was
about
tough.
taking vitamins just because I don't know. My mom, my parents always had us take
Were you a Flintstone
vitamins. No, we were like a
speaking of
big
Warrior
old-
Kid vitamins are out now.
Oh, really?
They came out this week. So they got Warrior Kid gummy vitamins, and they have
Well,
Warrior
there you
Kid
go.
protein shakes that are just the 12 grams of protein, so it's not like overloading the kids with,
Dude, that's
with
sick.
stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
But yeah,
This is like the dad episode. I'm loving it.
it is straight up. Yeah. Well, my kids take a lot of vitamins. Okay. Well,
You obviously weren't a Flintstone kid. You,
Yeah.
you
I was not.
missed that reference.
Oh my
entirely.
gosh.
I know what they are. My friends
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, well,
remember
that,
my
was
parents-
the
my-
jingle.
my parents
that
were
was
like-
the jingle for it.
Okay. My parents were like, I didn't even know there was a jingle.
Yep. That's it.
We are Flintstones
Stones
kids.
kids. 10
Million strong
and growing.
No,
No. That was it.
I don't remember
And we
that.
just lost all viewers.
What was your favorite of the Flintstone Kids flavors? Grape was so harsh. I was not a huge grape fan.
Probably orange.
Yeah, I liked the red.
The rich.
Those were
yeah,
good.
orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the red.
Yeah, like that's it. They were more colors than flavors.
Yeah.
right? But yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to have those vitamins, but my parents were like, we don't believe in those.
I
Like
just-
that's like candy. Okay,
there's
take real vitamin C,
Yeah.
echinacea, like zinc, like all this stuff. We
Yeah.
full medicine cup on the counter of pills, orange juice or water, kick them all back. I got good at taking vitamins like pretty early, so
I like it.
Good for
it
you.
helped. Yeah,
It-
yeah.
Yeah.
It shows in
It's
your
a good.
skin.
It does.
It's a good skill to teach a kid though. You know, like Zeke can take pills now, which is great because it's he's kind of in that in between stage where
Yeah.
like you're not giving him the little shot in the mouth with the medicine, but there's not really maybe some of the medicine you need doesn't have dissolvable pills, so you just need to learn how to swallow a pill.
Why do we ever get away from the fruity flavored medicines?
Yeah, why?
You know,
Oh, dude, I
we just
got a
up the
headache.
dosage. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I got a headache. Can you give me the bubble gum? Plate? But,
Yeah,
your
and
kids
I'm
are like,
I need
Dad, which one is this? Is this the bubble gum one or the?
Grape.
You know, like,
I
don't
need 60
worry about it.
milligrams of Motrin real quick.
Exactly.
I think that's
It's like
why.
the whole bottle.
Is because you're gonna end up drinking so much of the bottle.
Be half
Yeah.
gallon in the
Yep.
fridge. You have to refrigerate it.
Yeah, that's
The syringe will be like that big. Yeah.
It's like a turkey baster.
Yeah, exactly.
massive.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, hey, so just a little, we want to get into this.
Yeah.
Stand for Mac like man,
Yeah.
but I guess just maybe a little jiu-jitsu update as well because we have a lot of practitioners out there and they want to, it's good to just kind of stay in the loop on training stuff and so. But recently, what's cool is, so Stefan Banta and Moreno and Joao, last name Asanitis. I think there's a T in there. awesome UFC BJJ competitor. They've been doing this pro training over there. Pedro Rocha, at Formigos at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. And so they're there overlapping the time that we're there for our gi training Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Mm-hmm. And so, and they're always like inviting us to come over. And I've trained with them before, but recently David and I have been hopping over there to help them a lot more. And the training is intense. I mean, those guys are all like, elite level grapplers. And so the cool thing is they just want people to come help them.
Bodies.
Yeah. And they're like, hey, just come. Like, if you want to be a part of, like, they're like, I guarantee you some of these dudes are going to win ADCC one day. Mm-hmm. Or they're going to win the ADCC trials, and then this room's going to be packed. Like, you should come help us before that happens. You can be a part of this training group for free before it happens. So that's been really cool. So the group that runs it is Patriot Point Coaching. It's Mickey and Nightmare Nate, who we've talked about a bunch on here. Nightmare Nate is a donor to Jesus in Jiu-Jitsu. Just an awesome man of God. And probably the scariest grappler in the DFW Metroplex.
Is he related to Rosalind, who is also a nightmare?
No, Rosalind is a nightmare. No, this guy's a nightmare in a very different sense. He's 55, maybe?
No, he's older. Either way. He's in
50s. Dude. And I'm telling you.
I'm not brave enough to misage Nate. Yeah. Nate's 39.
If you're listening to this.
Yeah.
He's like one of the scariest humans on the planet. His neck is like this big. If you can't see me, I'm making my hands the size of a basketball.
I saw him doing neck exercises yesterday.
Yeah.
Like using his, like, okay. So if you were to put, I'm sorry, I'm standing up on the podcast. It just is what it is. Yeah. It's going to be one of those mornings. But like he had Jaden, the young kid, purple belt, I guess. Like standing with his leg straight, and Nate was like on all fours using the side of his head to push against Jaden's hamstring.
Yep.
And he was like,
we used to do that in football. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was.
And you push your head against, and you resist it.
Yeah. But like they were doing that.
Yeah, and then you push the head down.
Yeah. No wonder his head's giant. But it was almost like from that turtle, like trying to like wrestle up from a turtle position, like
pushing their head into
into people. And it looked brutal.
It's hard. It's really hard, especially when you're resisting. I saw how much resistance they were using too.
Yeah.
But that's how you get a neck like that. And his hand fighting is terrifying. He's so he trained with like everybody. I mean, he won Grappler's Quest. One of his first, he competed at ADCC as a brand new blue belt and went to the final and competed against Dean Lister, and Dean tapped him in the end. But the match before that was like pretty awesome, and Nate's like college wrestler, but just like not real lot of jiu-jitsu experience. Actually, I think he was probably a white belt. I don't remember, but he was a good grappler, And so that match is still on YouTube, and it's really pretty cool. And Dean Lister remembers Nate, which is funny because I brought him up to Dean, and Dean was like, "No, I remember him. He was telling me the whole story, the whole match." And then Nate sent me the video of the match, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what he said." But he's gnarly, man, and his hand fighting's crazy. He's trained with like, I think the Diaz brothers probably. I think that's what he said. But like Cain Velasquez, Jake Shields, like he just his coach is Dave Terrell, and just a savage. Anyway, I'm just giving some context on who this guy is, but he's also just such as a person. Like when you grapple with him, he's got one mode. It's just. And it's not even personal. He's not trying to hurt you or he's just like, there's only one speed. And it's, I'm either beating you, and he can tap you like 10 times in a round, Whereas like Formiga will like play with you. He'll tap you, but then he's like letting you work and whatever. Nate does not, there's no letting you work. I mean, at a really low skill level, of course, he's going to allow them space. But if you're a good grappler, the way he's helping you is by whooping you. So, anyway, his hand fighting is crazy. Like he always will get a collar tie up on the top of the crown of the head and kind of like wedge his elbow forward, which puts so much weight on your head. And after a little bit of that, and you just can't get rid of the grip. Like anytime you try to strip the grip, he goes with his other hand to collar tie. And he has all these ways to continue to constantly keep weight on your head. and eventually your neck just wears out and your lower back wears out, and then you're just like, all right, fine, I'm getting on the ground.
I think Mickey was saying that like he made a thing to where, because he was rolling with Nate so often, this was years ago, he like created a device to like kind of help him hold his head up on his drives home. Yeah.
It's that bad. Like
Yep.
and what's cool is like I rolled with a couple other guys in that training group that have been training there for a little while, and I see that same hand fighting style and that same aggression toward keeping weight on the head, to where a couple weeks ago, when the first time I had hopped in with them in a while, I was having a hard time holding my head up. It was like,
Yeah, neck's just so sore.
yeah.
So
But-
that's what friends are for.
Yeah. Hold your head up.
But it was such a so. But Stefan Banta over there. So I'm bringing these guys up because a lot of them they love the ministry. They love what we're doing, and so a couple of them have even been our professors. So Joao's taught
Yeah.
a seminar for us.
Stefan's taught.
Stefan, Moreno, Pedro.
Yeah. Pedro just did it on the mat with us.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. It's so cool, man. I mean, that group is just full of dudes, really good-hearted dudes that are absolute savages, elite level, like some of the best in the world, and they train together consistently. And they're just looking for bodies. So I'm kind of putting the word out. There's a lot of grapplers out there. I wouldn't, again, if it wasn't a combination of guys who are like real believers and have sewn into the ministry because they believe in what we're doing, like, it would just be another grappling group that's out there. But I really want you to kind of put the PSA out, like they could use bodies. So if you are looking for some good dudes that also train crazy hard and are elite level grapplers, and you want to experience that, or you want to be that, or you want to help. So like Dom Ducharme, Nate's son, he's a pro MMA fighter. He's got a fight coming up. He was a Pac-12 champion wrestler. He just did some technique for Jesus in Jiu-Jitsu recently. We also got Nate doing some technique, and the technique is hilariously brutal. Like David showed it to me the other day. I'm like, oh my
We're like, we can't post this.
It's like this like neck crank thing that's brutal. Anyway, but yeah, so those guys, like if you want to come train, you're welcome as long as you're a paying member at a school. If you're not, you can become a paying member at Double Five at Formiga's gym, and you can train there. But they meet Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. At Double Five Highland Village, and yeah, it's great training. So come be a part of that. I talked to Stefan yesterday. I was like, man, we'd love come be on the podcast and like come talk to us about, just talk about your faith. I know he's been on JP's podcast. So you got to interview him or talk to him.
Yeah, we've interviewed him. And kid's stories super interesting.
Yeah.
And then I was introduced to Stefan when he was new to jiu-jitsu, but I haven't like known him very much. So that was really cool to get to know him a little bit better and to hear his story. And on top of just being an unbelievable, multi-time world champion, he's also super smart.
Yeah.
SMU grad, and
yeah.
He's one of those that like he's if he was any prettier, he would have it all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's you're totally right. And he like just pours himself into whatever he does.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he just gets
he's kind
obsessive.
of all in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's I think part of the secret of him being so good at stuff. He just gets like obsessive about it. It's impossible to make him tired. Nate has to have him do all kinds of like jump squats and burpees and stuff in between rounds of rolling with people. He was in the middle, kind of going like king of the hill, just playing guard. If you passed him, he's out. Dude, we were going like round after round. No one could pass his guard. It was probably 25 minutes straight. And I'm talking like all these guys, like elite level grapplers. And no one could pass him. And so to the end, we're just like, all right, well, no one passed him. Okay, well, all right, Stefan, do 30 air squats, and then you got to roll with Isaac. And I'm like, thanks, Nate. Thank you. Yeah. And so what's cool is like actually some of those guys, if you're not like training, all those guys do all kind of those calisthenics, like, those the workouts in between rounds and stuff like that, just to help their cardio. But like if you're there to be a body, they're just kind of like, they want you sort of fresh to be a good look for them and help them out. And so it's a cool environment, man. It's really awesome, and we're really blessed to get to have access to that and then see it. At Double Five, we already have incredible elite training over here on the gi side, with Formiga and JB and all these other guys that teach and lead. but then to have that right over there that you could just go hop into and be a part of, and you're helping them out is really awesome. So anyway, but yeah, Cramer, you got something for us today?
Yeah. So we're gonna look at some things from a book that I recently listened to and loved it so much that I bought several copies of it and gave it to friends and things. Just impactful to me. And so Stand Firm and Act Like Men by Joby Martin. This came out in October. I think Isaac and I guess, was it Curtis gave us this book? Mm-hmm. When did he give it to us? Was that this year?
Yeah. I mean, it was just before Christmas. End of 2025.
Yeah, just before Christmas. Our buddy Curtis gifted us this book. He was in from Austin. He trains with us. He's the president of the Three Forks Steakhouses here in town, but lives down in Austin. Anyway, so it sat just in my car for a while. And then there was a forum or like a little round table discussion between Joey Martin, Matt Chandler, Tim Tebow, Jeff Foxworthy, Charles Martin, and a couple other guys that kind of made its way through our morning men's group text message. Mm-hmm. And so I was driving to Houston one day or to Austin, and I listened to it, and it was just awesome. I mean, they were just
listen to the round table or listen to the book?
I listened to the round table.
Okay.
Listen to the round table first. But it was still long. The round table was a couple hours long. Mm-hmm. But I got to hear a bunch of different people's perspective on being a godly man. And I think some of the things that I've struggled with, and I know we've talked about it here on this podcast before, is like, the fork in the road. I think it was Kyle Thompson when he was on. We talked about, when you're at a young age, either you can be tough or you can be godly, and you can't be both. And that's something that I've struggled with and even still struggle with today, of like things that I think are important that maybe are worldly, are they also godly, and so on and so forth. And so there was a lot of interesting stuff talked about in this round table. So I go, man, I gotta listen to this book. And I opened up my center console, and there was a copy of it. And it was like, yes, you definitely need to listen to this or read this. But I was driving a lot, so I listened to it. Anyway, it's awesome. So it's really built around 1 Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verses 13 and 14. I think Isaac has those up. Yep. We'll read those, and then I'm going to get into a couple stories from the book that resonated well with me.
Yeah, and maybe we could read both Lucas's version and mine, because this one I like for the print.
Yeah.
It's easy to read on the pod. But it's NLT. And so it's, there's some richness in like the ESV, or is that a CSB?
It's a CSB.
Yeah, okay. So we'll read both of them. So 13 and 14, you said?
Chapter 16, verses 13, 14.
Yep. Be on guard. Stand firm in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong, and do everything with love.
Yeah, so this is be alert. Stand firm in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong. Do everything in love. Yeah, pretty straightforward.
But it's missing.
Yeah, the stand firm part.
No, act like men.
Act like men part.
Yeah, which is interesting that it took that out.
Yeah, so this has that in a footnote 1613 that you've got literal translation instead of like thought for thought is act like men. And so when you see, this is one of the reasons I'm glad you pointed this out, that the footnotes in your scriptures are so important to go and to check out, right? So there might be a section where, and from a translation perspective, the reason things like this happen is when a translator is looking at the scripture, they have several different ways in which they can translate it, right? You can do word for word. And if that happens, typically what you're getting is the most literal translation. But when you do that, you may lose what the intent of the translation was, right? So, like for instance, in the book of Hebrews, it says the word of God is like a double-edged sword. Yeah. Okay. The literal translation for that is where you get into a lot of like translator preference of what they would get to pick. Okay, so is it double-edged sword? It's also a medical term that means scalpel, and so which really fits the context better, and so it's the job of the translators, the team of translators to figure that out. Now, most teams, whenever they're translating something, they have a guide like, hey, we're going to do this word for word, or we're going to do this thought for thought. And what we get in the majority of Bible translations is heavy one side or heavy the other, right? So like your NASB so New American Standard is like a word for word translation, which is sometimes why it feels a little bit wooden and rigid.
Clunky.
Yeah, because they are trying to make sure that every word is translated as accurately as possible into the language it's being translated into. Now with the CSB and the ESV, you get a mix of thought for thought and word for word, right? And another reason that this kind of translation is really important is because in Greek, what you'll find is that, we may have 3 or 4 English paragraphs, and in Greek, that's one sentence. One Greek sentence might be pages long. And if you were to try and translate that word for word, sometimes you lose a lot of that meaning. And so I just want to put that out there, because there are people who might see something like this in the footnotes and be like, oh, well, they took it out. It's like, they didn't really. This is another way where this can be translated. And what happened is the translators of this particular version or this translation of the Bible, when they got together, they said, hey, look, if we're looking at this as thought for thought, this says stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. Yeah. Could it mean act like men? Absolutely. So what we're going to do, we're going to toss that in the footnote so that becomes part of, part of the thing that's there to edify people as they grow. But where we see this in most common and how we feel like this is being used here kind of puts us there. And Wes Huff did a great piece on this, because we're dealing with so much interpretation of language, right? Because you're talking about, this is written by Paul, who was a Jew, who spoke Aramaic, who wrote it in Greek, and now we're translating it into English, right? So as far as like pulling meanings and those kind of things out of there, there's a lot for us to understand and to filter it through. But but act like men is there in the footnote there on verse 13 for me.
Yeah, mine says Greek, be men.
Yeah, there you go.
16, 17.
Yep. So becoming the man you were created to be instead of who the world says you are. So there's several things in this book that resonate with me. I mean, I'm not. It really. We kind of define what the world sees as a man, and then later talks more about biblically what it means to be a man. And there are some practical things that you can do that he lays out for you, kind of steps to leading your life in such a way that is godly and manly, that aren't mutually exclusive of each other, right? I think all godly things are also manly things. Mm-hmm. But just the funny things that kind of stood out to me, a couple of them that I just wanted to go over. What's that? What's on my Kindle? So I don't think it lines up.
Yeah, the Legacy Standard Bible, which is one of my favorite translations right now, says, "Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. Let all that you do be done in love." Mm-hmm. Yep. And Legacy Standard Bible is really cool because in the Old Testament and even in the New Testament in some pieces, it uses the divine names of God whenever they're used. So you won't see like Lord God, you'll see like Yahweh or Adonai or whatever is used there. So yeah, it's been really helpful in my personal devotion. It kind of gets
sterilized a little bit. Like it's funny because you see most people's reaction to you saying Yahweh or Yeshua, and they're like, okay, weirdo. And you're like, no, I'm not being weird. I'm literally using the name that God would have, that's in the Bible.
How he referred to himself.
Yeah, and it's not like it was purposeful. It's just, I think.
Again, it's a translation, right? Yeah. And it helps a lot when, the Legacy Standard Bible is the only one that I know of that's on any of the Bible apps that you can see that with, but they just do a phenomenal job. It's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
But where are we at?
Yeah, it's hard because I'm on my Kindle, so it's not.
Do you know what chapter it's in?
It's in the first chapter. Okay.
It's in a chapter.
It's in a chapter. One of the chapters.
It's in a chapter on a page.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, as you can tell by the verse that was read and kind of some of the context that the guys provided on that, the Bible's very clear of what it means to stand up and act like men and what it takes for a man to become a man. Bottom line, manhood is bestowed. It is passed down from man to boy. Mamas, if you're reading this, hold on. there's good news for you. Just hang in there. Anyway, so there's some good stuff in here about the wives too. I encourage women, moms, whomever, to also read this rather. I'm going to skip forward just a little bit from there to talk about Joby himself, as he describes himself. And this is one that resonated with me, and I'll explain why after I read this. So Joby says, I love to hunt, love to fish. My favorite color's camo. I love plaid, the Georgia Bulldogs, pro golf, Braves baseball, NASCAR, sweet tea, Christensen arms, rifles, and good bourbon. I've got a beautiful wife, healthy kids, and I work out. I still have a few muscles, though not as many as I used to. When I'm not driving a four-wheel drive Chevrolet truck, I drive my Harley. And yes, it's got highway pegs. I like cold beer, chicken wings, and nachos. And I took God literally when he said in Genesis chapter 27, verse 3, now then, take your weapons, your quiver and bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me. So I hunt my groceries with a Matthews bow, and I've got more guns than fingers. I could have one on me right now as I write this. I probably do. But none of that makes me a man. It makes me awesome, but not a man. So just that little tidbit, I'd like to know kind of where you guys stand on it. I'll tell you, like, growing up, reading this book actually made me appreciate my dad more.
Yeah.
And the attributes of a godly man that I now see in my dad that maybe I took for granted at a younger age. And now that I am getting closer to God and learning more what a godly man is and should be, I see so many of those attributes in my dad that maybe confused me at the time. So just take that. So I grew up in a little bitty small town out in Southwest Texas. There was a lot of the hunting and the beer drinking and the beards and the guys that rode Harleys or maybe had tattoos, like that I thought was cool. Those things to me made, like, as a child, they were cool. Those guys were men. My dad was pretty quiet. Took real good care of himself. I mean, always ate well and supplements and worked out, and but he was meek, you know. Never raised his voice, had a ton of patience, was very kind. The way he carried himself with people was with gentleness and care. And I'll be honest, like, as a teenager, and here I am, like, coming into manhood for myself, I didn't always look to my dad for that example because, like, there was all these other cool guys over here, right? And so that one, I mean, that for me, because I think I could list off a lot of things, especially, you know, until the last few years that I thought were manly. Okay, well, I've got muscles. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I have a beautiful wife. I'm somewhat successful. I have a ton of friends. Like, none of those things make me a man.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know, like, some of y'all's thoughts just on that, because I think what he described as himself is really what the world would look at and be like, oh, yeah, that's a man. If you've seen Joby Martin, I mean, he's a combination of Lucas and Isaac. He's kind of big and buff like Isaac. Has a beard. He has a beard. See, you didn't know where I was going with that.
Oh, no, I knew where you were going with it.
He has
he's white. He's losing his hair.
He has a big gray beard. He looks great in hats.
Oh, yeah, good for Joe.
He looks great in hats, like Lucas. But anyway, yeah. And I've got some other stories I'll tell on the side.
Yeah, you know, the list of attributes that he puts out there they're interesting to me because they are so many things that, like, the world identifies, right? So when I first started at FPC Lake Dallas, I was also working as at the Harley Davidson shop that's here in the community, right? Yeah. All of the things that he's talking about were all things that were criticized within the church. Yeah. And it was really interesting to me, and it's interesting hearing that and seeing kind of how our church has ebbed and flowed in that, because when I came here, I had long hair, I had a long beard, I was riding my motorcycle to work every day. I was competing in powerlifting and strongman competitions, and, you know, I had a big chunky Texas ring. I wore a wallet with a big chain on it because you didn't want it to fall off the bike, right? It wasn't like a fashion statement. It had a practical reason.
Occasionally had Viking braids. occasionally?
Oh, occasionally, like during that time, like that was pretty often, right? Like one of the people I was personal training would braid my hair and my beard every week, and so like each new week she was going through like the entire cast of Vikings and was like picking a new one every week to kind of do my hair.
Lucas was showing up with his literally beard braided like
braided with
perfectly.
beads in it, and
it was pretty dope.
It was rad. So I started the church and things start going, and they start talking about me for the pastor role. And when I was a youth pastor and associate pastor, those things were looked at as like, hey, this is kind of cool, right? When they started to talk about me as pastor, and we brought in some people from around the county to kind of help with some consulting as we were like going through the pastoral selection process. And then they asked me if I'd be interested in being a candidate. All of those things, right, that were features of the youth pastor, cool to have in the associate pastor, right? We're attracting a bunch of, other guys who were at the gym and riding Harleys and doing those kinds of things. And there was a lot of, dude, the amount of flannel that was being worn, especially at our Saturday night services where I was preaching was just unbelievable. We could have blanketed several communities. And then when the conversations start to happen about when I take this lead position, now all of a sudden, those things are like, hey, do you want to be a biker church? Because this, you guys are kind of giving off biker church vibes. Are you going to do this, that, and the other? And it really came to this point of like, hey, what things how God used it in my life, what things in my appearance and things are going to be things that I'm going to hold on to that will kind of prevent me maybe from being in the position that he wants me to be in until like I earn the trust and the spot there. So and the beard went pretty quick. The first round of hair went, I cut it and donated it. I started wearing a lot more suits because it was something that the church itself, in order for me to do what God had called me to do, I needed to not do these things that were very much a part and still a part. I still have my motorcycle, still ride my bikes. Kirsten and I go for bike rides and still, pretty regular, not as much now that we got kids, right? So not until all that paperwork was filed for, who gets the babies if something happens. Yeah. But it changed a lot when it came to that. And the reason I think that this is such an interesting thing that he points all those things out is because I do think that there is still a worldly context where all of that stuff, people point to that and they're like, yeah, that's a man. But there is still a segment of Christianity that points to it and they're like, man, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? But the whole idea of being a man has to do with what our personal risk assessments are and what's our comfort with danger, right? What are the risks that we're willing to take for our friends, our family, whatever? And, it works both ways. So for me, the risk was, am I willing to put aside this personal identity that I've built in order to be the pastor that I need to be in the place that I'm being called to pastor, right? Am I going to start by really bucking hard against the system and saying like, no, if you want me, this is me and blah, blah, blah. Or am I willing to say, hey, you know what? In order for me to do this thing I really feel called to do, I'm going to have to make some changes. And then over the course of time, 2 years ago, I was dressed in the exact same way that I was whenever I first started at the church, and nobody batted an eye. It just took a little bit to get everybody on board with the idea that the traditional views that we have may be, or the views that we have may be more culturally ingrained. They might be more folk religion than they are legit gospel.
Yeah.
And it took a little while to bring everybody through that.
Yeah.
It's fun. This is awesome to see because it's literally what Joby was talking about. Okay, all these things about me, but that doesn't make me a man. So what Lucas
makes me
did,
awesome.
So
yeah.
Lucas like took some of that.
Man.
Lucas took some of that stuff off, because maybe it was a distraction for some of the people that maybe couldn't receive in that context. So Lucas being like, well, that's not my identity. That actually, none of that stuff actually makes me a man. So it's kind of easy to give some of that stuff away.
So
I'm going to show you who I am, and love on you and get to know you and be endeared to you through the teaching of the word, through discipleship, which he did. And then eventually it came to a point where now that he taught them, none of this stuff makes me a man, and none of this stuff disqualifies me from being a man of God. Then on the other side of it, then it was kind of like, okay, cool. Now I can resume those things that
the
God
flannel's back, baby.
Yeah, God gave me.
I've traded in my wingtips for work boots again on a lot of Sunday mornings, which is nice.
Yeah,
that's
although
cool,
a nice
man.
pair of wingtips still looks good. So.
I love it, man. I think that's such an amazing point, and what a great example too. Just like being able to put some of those things aside. Some of those things again, because there's a part of manhood that's like, well, hey, man, I don't really care what you think about me. These are things that I enjoy and have a passion for, and none of them are disqualifying or dishonoring to God, And so you have your preference, I have mine. But also part of being a man is saying there's a way to compromise for the good. There's a way to help other people come along too, And so. Yeah. I like it, but knowing where your battles are is important. Like knowing if this is a thing that's inherently who I am, and it's like, man, if you got a problem with that, then I don't know what to tell you because that's who God made me to be. There's other parts of it that are like, hey, if there's a way that I can learn to become this way, that I might have a connection with this person, then I can do that. I'm not giving up my manhood to do that.
And I think really like, when we talk about when Paul says, I became all things for all people, right? That's where it really exists, right? It doesn't mean compromising who we are as individuals or certainly not our convictions, but there is a point where you look at it and you're like, it's just hair.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like it can go. Is it awesome? Right. That my hair is braided and beaded and I look like a character from Vikings. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. But that can go. Can I trade the flannel jackets in for wool suits for a season? Yeah. And you know what? I can learn to enjoy it.
Yeah, right. This is a part of who you are too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll get 4 of these and I'll mix and match them like Steve Harvey talks about, and I've got 30 suits now that I'm bringing in different stuff. Like
you need 4
absolutely
pants.
Yeah, that's
4
it.
jackets.
I'm gonna have fun with it instead of being embittered by it, because what is going to show these people that I love them and that I care about them is that I'm willing to meet them where they're at. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then that is one of the things, and I know he kind of gets to this, is like that's what being a man is about learning to lead the people that you've been called to lead with your congregation, with your Bible study groups, but starting with yourself and your family. So yeah,
I think just
cool.
The one thing to pick out of what you just said, and it's so important, and that's meeting people where they're at.
Yeah,
loving like Christ. Boom, you nailed it. I mean, we've talked about this several times on here. Like it doesn't matter how broken, how lost, how far away you think you are from God, He will meet you where you are, and that's such a godly attribute to love people the same way. That's beautiful, Lucas.
It's a good heart.
Yeah,
I have a quote I wanted to read real quick. This is from Chandler. He said it in a sermon a while back. I thought it was a good quote. He said, whether a man enjoys jiu-jitsu or the botanical gardens, and he says, I enjoy both, neither behavior makes a man masculine or not masculine. To step into the confidence of the authority and calling of God on your life is the most masculine thing there is. And it's cool. And it's, we happen to have a lot of guys around us that are, we got friends that are special operators and law enforcement and firefighters and jiu-jitsu world champions. And there's guys that have like this capacity for violence, do tough stuff. Their jobs are hard or risky. And we have friends that are scholars and, accountants and, in hospitality. And those guys are amazing men who I learn from, and all of them I'm just like an accumulation of all these people that I receive from, that I learn from, and Lucas, I think Lucas and I can have a lot of similarity in that aspect. We both were athletes. We both, lift weights, but we were musicians too. And musicians kind of they make you feel like you have to kind of pick a route. Mm-hmm. You're going to be an artsy fartsy guy, or you're going to be a jog weightlifter guy. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, I don't have to choose. Yeah. I didn't realize that at the time. It always felt really weird about having to pick a side. I'm like, no, I'm both of these things. God put them both in me. And looking at David, at the person of David, that made me feel a lot more confident in that because David was a warrior and he was also an amazing writer and a songwriter and a musician.
Killed his tens of thousands and then went and wrote a little bit of poetry.
Yeah, played the harp, soothed Saul. Like, yeah. So there's room for all of that. And what's cool is like there's kind of a spectrum is such a overused word these days, but there really is kind of a spectrum of all of that, and all of those iterations honor God. If those propensities and that the way you are is turned toward the Lord, like if you are using who you are to honor God, there's not like a right or wrong. Like you're not. I have friends all over. Do you know Trent Horn, Council of Trent? He's a Catholic apologist. Anyway,
I do. I'm familiar with the Council of Trent, but I don't know Trent Horn.
Well, he has a
happened
YouTube
before my
channel
time.
Council.
That's truly back in the olden days. The Council of Trent in the 1500s.
In the olden days. But he's amazing.
Still there was pen and paper, kids.
Yeah. Well, that was more quill, but yeah. Now he was a really he is a YouTuber, has like a really huge YouTube channel. But he's a Catholic apologist, and I've learned a lot from him in a lot of his videos, especially against other religions or just conversations like that. And he and I had coffee the other day. I met him in In-N-Out a couple years ago. We went to a Fight to Win for JP's birthday, and afterward we went to In-N-Out. It was like 1 a.m. or something, and we were hanging out, and the guy next to us at the table was like in a suit by himself eating In-N-Out at 1 a.m. And I was like, what is this guy doing? He looks over and he's like, hey man, I like your hat. Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu hat. And he introduces himself. He's like, yeah, I'm Trent Horn. I run a small YouTube channel and I do Jiu-Jitsu. Like I've been training for 2 years and I think it's awesome. It's cool what you guys are doing. And so we start talking and he ends up being like, I look up his small YouTube channel. It's got like, I don't know, 250,000 subscribers. Like dude's killing it.
That's cool.
Yeah. But anyway, he and I had coffee the other day and he was talking about, cause he's like he's a scholar. He's like a super academic, like he debates, like formal debates, all this, and he's wearing a suit a lot. And he was saying like the amount of people that think like, oh, it's just some pencil neck nerd is what he said.
Yeah.
Like, but he's like, but if I had to, like I could fold people up. I'm like, yeah. So at one of
with his knowledge,
but with his
dude.
jiu-jitsu, he's a blue belt now. He's got some good. Well, I watched him.
Does he have the blue belt confidence?
So he showed me this video at one of his. So he went to go speak at a thing.
Yeah.
At like a.
I was
conference.
kidding. I'm not bashing your.
Nah, he's.
You'll know my heart.
He's come and trained
like
with me.
Yeah.
Like he's come to take my class when I was teaching at Rodriguez for a little while. He came over and taught maybe 3 of my no-gi classes. Come and hung out and rolled with me. But one time he showed me this video of when he was speaking at a conference, and in the break he kind of told, like, hey, if any of you guys like to grapple or whatever, we're going to be up in suite such and such on the carpet.
No way.
And so he brought his no-gi. He brought his no-gi stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just like doing rounds on the ballroom carpet with like, a couple guys at one after the other and just like rolling and they're having a good time. And so it was cool. Anyway, I love this dude, but he again, just, we were talking about a spectrum of people. Like I have dudes that are literally like could probably eat rocks for a meal. Yeah. And they love Jesus. Yeah. And then I have dudes like, Trent who have their
PhD.
Yeah, PhD and theologians and he trains jiu-jitsu and he's just like that's equally as much. Yeah. Like and it's so cool, man. But I think the more that and I think part of being a godly man is observing those traits in other men and appreciating where they're at. Like
100%.
You do have a tendency. I gravitate towards dudes who are pushing themselves, who are more, athletic and whatever, because that's kind of my background and I'm used to that. And I'm used to being surrounded by guys like on my football team or weightlifting or jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, but I think you have also see a ton of respect and like, find common ground with those guys that you can see are kind of living out God's gifts for them. Yeah. Right. And it's like, while, the gift of a scholar is so different than what I believe God's gifts are for me. I went to this school for kids that don't read good.
It's school for ants.
This one. But you still find like I've learned like really just like I think when you have a heart for the Lord and you have like you opened your heart to others too. Like I now have friends that I wouldn't have had, not because we have common interests outside of our love for the Lord, but because I respect their interests because of our shared love for the Lord.
That's it. So that's I think part of being a godly man, a man that honors the Lord, is like I see the dignity and the beauty, just the awesomeness of His creation in all like varieties and iterations in other men that I see that are like not like me. I used to be frustrated with dudes that, like Chandler was talking about this a couple weeks ago. He's like, he goes, I'll just tell you, like, one of my struggles is I have a hard time with people that have a low pain tolerance. He's like, but
he
God
talked about that at church 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. But he was saying that God uses those interactions as like a way, well, maybe I can lend them some strength or help encourage them in that area. But then they're teaching me to be more patient in that. And so like we're actually sharpening each other as like, so if someone has a perceived weakness or whatever, you actually kind of like helping each other out. If your goal is like mutual edification and turning, and like we're in pursuit of God together. And that's why like I have a collection of friends that literally couldn't be more different than each other. Like this whole circle here is kind of, a lot of us have enough similarity. We are enough edges of the circles of our Venn diagrams are like touching that we have a ton in common. But there are people that I'm friends with because of our belief in Christ that are way outside of that circle that I love just as much and I appreciate and I admire just as much, because they have all these different traits and abilities and temperaments and passions, and it's cool, man. But I think that honors the Lord when we can acknowledge sort of a variety of giftings and abilities. What's that?
No,
I sent Cramer some pictures of when I was braiding my hair and all that. So,
and one, you're huge, dude. You're jacked. You look like freaking Thor.
I know.
Yeah.
There was a point in my life when I had muscles. I'm curious about this kind of thing that you mentioned, Isaac, with like the pain threshold and all of those things. This is, as a 40-year-old with toddlers, this is the hardest part for me. Is when the things that don't hurt, and like watching I'm talking about like one of them ran into a door the other night, like a full on door was like halfway open, cracked in the hallway, ran into the door, flipped them upside down, lands on the ground, and then I hear, "I'm fine," and then just like back going like absolutely awesome. Slips, falls down, and now the world is ending.
Yeah, and you're like,
yeah, like you're not the same kid. Freaking, I just watched you smoke yourself on the door.
Yeah.
Like
I know
your
this
mom
so
was
well.
your mom is like doing a skull examination to make sure you didn't fracture yourself, right?
Yeah.
And now your pride got hurt
because
you slipped in this thing because you were running with your brother, and now all of a sudden the world's coming down. Like my
tolerance,
right? My patience for it is so much less than what I thought it was going to be.
I agree, dude.
I thought I was going to be this like perfect, patient, like kind, loving father, and I see that, and I immediately, like, I want to just look at him and be like, "Hey, suck it up, okay? Yeah. Don't be a meow meow. You slipped and fell down. Go get back after it." But instead, right? You gotta look at them. You got to meet them where they're at, and you've got to do the.
Yeah. I'm still learning that, man. I'm not good at that.
Are you really?
I'm like, get up,
hurt, dude, and it's so hard. Yeah. And then there are other times, right? Like we've all had pretty bad spills, whether it's getting thrown in jiu-jitsu or something else, where it looks brutal, but you really didn't feel it. Yeah. It's okay. And then there are other times where it looks like nothing happened, and you're like, I can't come back and train for 2 weeks. Yeah. Like I've got to take time off.
Right.
And so knowing that too. There is that sort of like, okay, how much of this is real? How much of it's fake? What's for the attention? What am I supposed to do? And now in this moment, right, from the dad perspective, is how will my reaction to this influence the way that they do things the next time that they slip and fall or whatever? And so like you have these moments where there's this culmination of all of this stuff, and you have to figure out exactly what we were talking about. Like what's the godly thing to do in this situation, and to do that. And bro, those 100 little times a week, I think those are the ones that not only like help to sanctify us the most, but they also are those moments that, like, looking back, they're the ones that are going to shape our kids the most. Right? Yeah, they're going to love the time sitting in dad's lap reading the book, or, playing baseball outside or on the bike ride or whatever. But when they're in these moments, whether real or manufactured crises, the way that we respond to them is going to teach them about one, how a father is supposed to respond, so it's going to have a reflection on God, and two, how they're supposed to respond whenever it happens to people around them, including their younger siblings and those things. And those things, I think, that we want to disregard, or that, for me, absolutely send me to 11. Like there's just no two ways about it.
Oh, it's funny, man. I can absolutely relate to that. That's hilarious. But dude, I think this is cool. I realize the passage could have sparked a couple different paths of conversation.
There's still so much more.
Yeah.
I'm actually short on time, and I remember I've got a hard stop. We are there. But I think we should leave a cliffhanger here, right? So we briefly discussed the book. We talked about, and then we're able to share some of our own stories about, what we think a man is and so on and so forth. But, after that little story, he then gets into where have we gone wrong?
Let's talk about it next week, man.
Let's talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Please join us next week. We'll talk about that, where we went wrong historically, what has changed, why, there's a young man now or a dude now, and no longer do boys get called into manhood from men, but often called into manhood from other boys. So please join us next week as we talk about that. You can find copies of this book, Stand Firm and Act Like Men by Joby Martin, on Amazon, on Spotify to listen to the audio version, Kindle, Apple. It's everywhere. Audible, and also his website.
Check your library apps too.
Yeah. Yep. It's everywhere. And a great book. I believe there is a study guide if you're going to study this book. I'm actually starting I wanted to share some awesome news with you guys. So, and thank you all for helping me in discipling me and helping me become a disciple to others. But, professionally, things have changed a bit, and I've been very busy, as you guys know. But we are starting a men's group for multifamily, and that is such a big deal.
That's rad.
The industry needs more men like us in kind of leading from the front. And so the first book we're going to study is Stand Firm and Act Like Men. Sweet. We kick things off on the 30th of this month. So, awesome. That's super cool.
Huge. I mean, you've seen the way that and Lucas sees this. Obviously, he does this every week at his church, but we've gotten to see it with our Tuesday morning Bible study, just how much it draws dudes in when they're just shoulder to shoulder studying something, marching forward together. It just brings you in super close, and it empowers you, encourages you. So.
Yeah. So we'll get on next week. We'll get into the book a little bit, listen to some cool stories about how other cultures, the boys are called into manhood, and which we don't really have here in the U.S. So
not
cool
anymore.
To just get into that. Yeah. So I encourage you, go get the book. I think you'll really enjoy it. So.
Sweet. I'll pray for us, and then just a quick announcement, and then we're out.
Let's do it.
Heavenly Father, thank you so much for your love for us, your delight in us, which is a hard thing to fathom. But you're such a good father and a good model of for all of us earthly fathers, God. And I just pray that you would help us to see your love for us in Scripture, and help us to implement that or internalize that, and then love other people, and especially our kids and our wives, that same way. Lord, I thank you for your wisdom that comes to us through many different authors and pastors and passages in your word, Lord. And I just thank you for everyone that's listening to this podcast, that's a part of this community, the Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu community. Thank you. Thank you for establishing this and for moving it forward according to your will. Lord, we who are helping to lead this, God, we surrender ourselves to you continually, that your will would be done, and Lord, that your name would be made great. Lord, I pray for every family that's out there that's listening and represented by listeners of the podcast, God, that you would bless them in their relationships, in their marriages, in their businesses, God, that you would prosper them, that they might, not to make much of themselves, God, but to be able to glorify you and make much of you to the people around them. Lord, I pray for our event. Well, actually, by the time this comes out, I don't know where we'll be on that. But
it'll be this weekend.
Okay, cool.
Isaac and the Lord.
And the Lord, yeah. Well, Lord, you have your hand on all of this, and we're so grateful for your blessing on this ministry and on everybody that's a part of this community. But we surrender ourselves continually to you. We love you. We put our hope and trust in you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So the event.
Yeah, this weekend, we're January 24th. We are at Six Blades Jiu-Jitsu in Keller with Victor Hugo. It's going to be freaking awesome. Jocko is actually sending out some of this fruity cereal milk to all the folks there, so
It's
we
unreal,
can
dude.
give it a try.
It's so good.
Yep. So if you want to try it, come out to Six Flags Jiu-Jitsu. And what time do we get kicked off?
12 o'clock. So
12
doors
o'clock.
open at 11:30. Victor Hugo is a black belt world champion in gi and no gi, absolute world champion. I think in both.
ADCC competitor,
ADCC,
CJI competitor.
CJI, yeah.
Come on, I mean,
like
this
one of the
dude's-
most decorated and one of the current best on the planet.
Yes.
You would be crazy to not come out and learn from him in a free seminar. So come out, be a part of it. Bring anyone you want. Like, we would love to pack this thing out. I would rather have too many people there than not enough people there. More people there to hear the gospel is always better. So
Amen.
our brother, our friend, Lucas and I have a friend named Rob Daniels from Christ Freedom Church. He's going to be sharing
His testimony, right on. dude.
sharing
Rob's
sharing
rad.
the gospel.
Yep.
So really excited about having him there. But we can't wait to see there. Our discipleship curriculum will be launching very soon.
Get on the email list
Yep.
so that you know whenever it's coming out.
Yep.
Yep.
It's going to be exciting. So we'll tell you more about that. Kramer's got to get out of here. But we love you. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the Jesus and Jiu-Jitsu podcast, episode 150.
Go train.